As a solo creator, one of the most powerful things you can do is document your process. My favorite way of documenting myself is by capturing BTS, and BTS can be super useful. On short form platforms, I utilize BTS to oftentimes showcase transitions, thought processes, and how I go about creating my video projects and my photo projects. BTS helps you connect with your audience, helps build trust, and honestly, it's pretty interesting seeing how somebody creates a very intricate transition or video or photo, whether that be lighting, shooting techniques, etc. And overall, BTS is just really useful and versatile to have. Now, the problem is shooting BTS by yourself can be difficult. That's why I wanted to make a video today talking about 5 different BTS rigs that I use on almost a daily basis, how I use them, how I set them up, what they're good for, and some pros and cons on each. The first rig is this neck mount. Now, this neck mount is pretty interesting. It's a Magsafe neck mount that is built out of this interesting, like, elastic rubberized material that allows for you to really make it malleable, make it moldable, and it fits a variety of different forms. The mount simply clips and unclips, and by unclipping it, you can simply attach this around your neck. It molds to the shape of your body, so it's really secure. And the Magsafe option is super easy because it's really convenient to just attach your iPhone to the back of it using the magnets. If you have a different sort of phone, I think they have different adapters for perhaps like Samsung phones or other different phones to make them Magsafe adaptable. Or I think there are other different options on, let's say Amazon, for example. You don't have to buy this specific Telesin one that I'm using here. It's really small, really compact, and really malleable, and it's very versatile for shooting POV style content. Now, I've used this extensively in my BTS content for my social media, or when I'm shooting for YouTube, I just turn it horizontally and then just shoot, usually on the 0.5 lens on the iPhone. The 0.5 4K footage on the iPhone is honestly a sweet spot for this POV style content. It sits basically just above your chest, almost like your chin area, and it's a pretty close position to like your eyesight, your point of view. And a lot of my most viral reels actually recently have been shot using this POV neck mount, which surprisingly is like, I think it's like $20, maybe 15, 20 bucks. This particular one and everything else I'll link down in the description below. This isn't sponsored by Telesin, and there are a bunch of different alternatives out there, but this Telesin one I've used is just bang on the money. It's really good. And I've shot a variety of vertical and horizontal clips using this setup. It's honestly, it might be one of my favorites out of this entire list. The next setup I use are these Ray-Ban Meta sunglasses. Now, these sunglasses are a bit more pricey than the Magsafe neck mount, obviously. These sunglasses have a built-in lens in the, I think it's, is it the left or the right? I think it's on your left side where it has a lens built in the corner of the frame. It's really simple. There's a button on the top right above your lens frame where you can either touch once to take a picture or just tap and hold to do a long press, and then a video will start recording. It's literally from your eyesight, and it's super easy just to look where you want to record. And if you want something that's really easy and useful to use for solo creators in particular, it's just something that I put on and I kind of forget about, and I'll just record, and it really is helpful when I'm shooting BTS content and that sort of stuff. I think there might be a maximum of 3 minutes for the recording limit. It also records audio. The quality, I don't think the quality is 4K. It's not the best. I actually prefer shooting on the iPhone to this, but just in terms of the form factor, this is really easy to use, set up, throw in your bag. It comes in a charging case. The case will actually charge and has a USB-C port where you can charge this when you get home, but the glasses will actually charge in the case, and when you're ready to use them, you just pull them out, pop them on, and they're good to go for an extended period of time. I don't think I've had a scenario where I was filming with the glasses and the battery ran out on the glasses. Typically, like, I'll shoot a few different scenes, then we'll move location. In the meantime, I'll pop them back in their case and then just charge them as I'm walking between different locations. And I haven't had an issue with battery life. Honestly though, for the price point, it's super useful, and I would highly recommend it for anybody who wants to shoot BTS content. The quality is good enough, the audio is okay, and it's just, the form factor is amazing on this one. This is probably the easiest form factor out of everything, the most frictionless. I have the clear glass type just because it makes it easier for me to communicate with people, and people know that I'm recording with these glasses. There's actually a light in the right side, I believe, that blinks and glows when you record, so people know that you're recording. But yeah, for the price point, the quality, and honestly ease of use, this one I highly recommend. It's really, really good to use. You can switch between this and the neck mount for different styles of capture, but having them both as a solo creator, super useful. Capturing BTS is great, but sometimes I want to generate a visual idea before I shoot. That's where Artlist's new AI generator has been super useful. So I'm sure by now you know about Artlist. They have an amazing library of sound effects, visual assets, and a bunch bunch of other things that really help creators like you and me. They recently released a new AI image and video generator that allows you to take text and prompt it into an image and then take that image and prompt it into a video. The place we're at with AI right now is just incredible. Now, one of my favorite uses of this is to help craft storyboards and bring ideas to life for references so that I have a clear idea of how I can plan a shoot before I get out into the field. They have an amazing library of things that they've already generated that look really good. You can tailor your prompt to fit whatever style or format you need for your pre-production. And by simply clicking enhance, you'll get a better and more detailed prompt that'll really help you with your results. It's super flexible and I've had a lot of fun trying out different prompts and figuring out different ways to incorporate this into my work. If you're interested in learning more about this and trying it out for yourself, click the link in the description below for more information. Thanks again, Artlist, for sponsoring this video. The next setup is having a 360 camera on a boom arm or a monopod attached to your camera. Now, this may sound really funky and wonky, but this POV style is actually pretty easy to set up and it's pretty useful. Basically, what I have is a 90-degree bracket attached to a monopod, and then that is attached to my Insta360 X3 or X4. I think this is X4. This works on any 360 camera. Basically, the idea is that by positioning the bottom of the camera to this monopod, you basically have an invisible stick. And if you angle it just right, it looks like you have a camera floating out in front of your face. Now, this is super useful. You can angle it any which way. You don't have to have it like directly in front of you, blocking your lens. Sometimes that's a cool look if you want to really capture like the essence of you shooting on location. I've actually made a reel talking about the POV style effect that you can do with this. The Insta360 app or the desktop app where they use, you can actually import the footage, then deep track or track yourself by just drawing over a square over where you want to track. And for instance, if you want to track the lens of the camera for a POV effect, it's a really cool option. And obviously, because it's a 360 camera, you can position the arm in different ways to perhaps just capture you as well as your subject. You can reframe it. It's a really easy option to have as a solo creator. 360 cameras are relatively cheap. I don't think you necessarily need to buy the newest 360 camera. I think like an Insta360 X3, maybe a previous generation, might be great for this, where you don't need like 8K footage, you just need 4K footage. And it's so seamless to set up. Again, it's a really small, compact profile. It gives you a lot of options in post for reframing. So this is an option where if you want to also shoot perhaps more of your model or showcase more of you in your entire rig, this is a great option to use. The next rig is a trusty Magic Arm and a Magsafe adapter. Now, the Magic Arm is something you've probably seen a lot of different times in POV style shots. You can like attach your camera to this Magic Arm and get these like locked on shots. They're typically, I think, like $10, maybe $15. One thing that I've added to this setup is a Magsafe adapter. Now, this metal Magsafe adapter is pretty interesting. It just screws on, I think it's a 1/4-inch thread, to a Magic Arm, to which you can then attach your iPhone and get a variety of different cool angles while you're filming. This is sort of similar to the 360 camera, but oftentimes I'll just have this locked off on a specific angle. And this is great for perhaps when you have like a gimbal and you just want to shoot a locked off shot showcasing the gimbal as you come around a corner or do a certain type of movement. You can even flip it around and focus on you as you're shooting. It's very similar to the 360 camera, but you don't need to reframe everything. You just kind of set it up in different ways along your rig. I just set up the iPhone on the 0.5 lens again. I just press record and you got some really cool BTS footage. One of my favorite things about shooting BTS on the iPhone is that the color rendition is super relatable. Everybody's familiar with iPhone footage. It feels like real life. And that coupled with really good audio, to be honest, on set. That's one of the reasons why I use the iPhone a lot for a lot of my BTS stuff. A lot of the YouTube BTS is shot on iPhone. It's just one of my favorite mediums. It's really easy to shoot in 4K 30 FPS and it just looks really good and it performs on socials really well. And finally, the last rig that I use oftentimes is this POV kind of like head mount or chest mount. I just kind of loop these together because I switch between the two so often. For the head mount, sometimes I'll use the GoPro just like on a head mount, or I'll have actually the Insta360 Go 3S. It's a small magnetic camera that pops out of its casing. You can use it to basically monitor your recording, and also it comes in a variety of different like accessories where you can attach this via a clamp to your hat, for instance. The video quality isn't the best on this, to be honest, especially at nighttime. The low light capabilities aren't great. I mean, you get what you pay for. It's such a small camera that there are certain things you have to give up. I'll use it sometimes. It's much better during the daytime. The other thing that I'll use is just a typical GoPro, basically on either a head mount or on my chest mount. The chest mount's sometimes good for like photography, but when I'm using like a gimbal or something very large, if I have it on my chest, oftentimes like the gimbal or the rig just blocks the entire field of view. So it's not necessarily my favorite way of shooting POV or BTS content. I like to have the camera a little bit higher, close to my eyesight, either on my head or, as I said, on the neck mount, kind of like on the chin area. I feel like that's a better field of view. It's more accurate to like your eyesight, to your actual point of view. So yeah, those were 5 different rigs that I use all the time for my POV and BTS content. This isn't necessarily about the specific gear that you use. It's more so about figuring out different ways to use cheap accessories, things that are disposable. Maybe you already have a phone and a Magsafe thing and you just need like one adapter, or you already have a 360 camera and maybe you should just buy another like 1/4-inch adapter to attach it to your camera or your rig. I think more than anything, this is just about finding creative ways to utilize the equipment that you already have. Maybe purchase a couple small cheap things to help elevate or position that equipment in ways that make capturing BTS and POV style content frictionless. I'm telling you, it's so useful when you're trying to tell stories on socials, showcase stuff on your YouTube, or even for yourself. If you're trying to like remember certain rigs, certain lighting situations when you're on set, these sort of things are invaluable in both kind of like the personal learning and personal growth area, as well as the content production and when you're trying to share stuff online. If you have any questions on any of these rigs or anything in general, feel free again to leave them in the comments below. As always, I have Luts, sound effects, everything available on my website. This is the best way to help support me, help support this channel. I appreciate you checking those out. If you made it to the end of the video, comment the word Odyssey so that I know you're a real one. I appreciate you. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next one.